Hello everyone and we welcome you back to Olaspark Recap. In today's video we will be summarizing an sci-fi movie titled Lucy. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. In the outlet shot, we see a cell cut up into multiple other cells. Then we see a proto-human in prehistoric times consuming from a lake. Lucy narrates with the aid of saying that life started billions of years ago, and ponders simply what we've got executed with it from that moment. In the prevailing, Lucy is a younger American lady outside a motel in Taiwan along with her week-long boyfriend Richard. He is calling her to take a briefcase as much as the room of a Mr. Jang. Even though supplied $500, she refuses to do anything for Richard without understanding what it is that he wishes her to deliver, so he handcuffs Lucy's wrist to the edge of the briefcase, leaving her without a choice. She enters the foyer and tells the clerk that Richard is sending her up to Jang, and then nervously offers her name to the clerk. Lucy watch out the window to find Richard smiling and looking to be encouraging, till he is shot and killed. An institution of thugs come out of the elevator and force Lucy to head up with them. They take Lucy to Jang's apartment. There are bloodied corpses on the floor, causing Lucy to vomit. Jang comes out along with his hands soaked in blood. He contacts a person on the cell phone to translate for Lucy. She cries, not knowing what is going on or why any of that is happening. Jang writes down number 140 on a bit of paper. That's the code to open the briefcase. Jang steps into the following room while his guys arm themselves with weapons and shields. Lucy opens the briefcase, which includes 4 1-kilogram luggage of blue powdered crystals. Jang brings in a drugged up man to snort a number of the blue powder. The guy in short convulses and then starts laughing maniacally till Jang shoots him in the head. Lucy is then ordered to do a process, which she refuses to do until she gets smacked. Lucy wakes up in a resort room. There is a bandage on her stomach. Jang's men come in and throw her some garments. She is taken to Jang, alongside 3 other guys. A British guy referred to as the Limey comes in to give an explanation to Lucy that she and the opposite men have had a drug called CPH4 filled into their decrease intestines. The drug is supposed to be the subsequent big thing on the market, and they intend to smuggle it the world over. Afterwards, Lucy is taken to a room and chained up, where one of the thugs tries to get in between her legs, then begins kicking her in the belly, where she is pierced through. This causes a tear within the drug bag, leaking the powder into Lucy's body organs. She starts to writhe around and thrash all throughout the room, even attaining as much as the ceiling till she falls back down to the floor. As all of this occurs, we meet Professor Samuel Norman giving a lecture to a classroom on his research of the mind's potential. He basically explains what ought to show up if human beings ought to exceed beyond the advised 10% brain potential that they use, as well as its responses to sure environments that might allow the mind to post to immortality or replica. Basically, if the difficulty in their environment, they would pick out immortality and circulate someplace else. However, in the event that they have been glad with their state, they would be willing to reproduce complete with photos of every species carrying out intercourse. If, say, human beings could attain as much as 40%, they could manipulate substances. Footage of a magic display is juxtaposed right here for example. One pupil asks Norman what would take place if human beings reached 100%. He says he has no idea. Lucy reawakens, with her eyes sparkling brilliant blue. She sits upright, more calmer than earlier. A thug comes into the room, and Lucy spreads her legs to tempt him. The thug smiles and lays down his gun at the desk. As he walks over to her, Lucy grabs his belt and flips him over, then pulls the desk over to take the gun. After she frees herself, she shoots the other thugs as they are eating. She receives shot in the shoulder, but is able to dig the bullet out without feeling ache. She then eats all of the thugs' meals before leaving. She reveals taxi drivers outdoor, shoots one at his leg and told one of them to take her to the health center. On her manner to the health center, Lucy has heightened senses and is capable of listening to people's voices from outside the car. When she gets to the clinic, she is capable of definitely examine the signs as if they were in English to her. She went to a surgery room where docs are performing a surgery on a person. Lucy view the affected person's X-ray scans after which shoots the person, pointing out to the medical doctors that they wouldn't had been capable of reviving him because the tumor in his brain had already unfolded a long way than normal. She forces the doctors to take the bag out of her belly. She then calls her mother to inform her that she feels the whole thing. The air, the blood in her veins, the heat leaving her body, and is even capable of gaining access to the deepest components of her memories, like while she was unwell as an infant or maybe petting a cat whilst she turned barely a 12 months vintage. She tells her mother that she loves her earlier than placing up. The medical doctor pulls the bag of medicine out of Lucy's belly, and after she tells him that it's CPH4, he tells her that this is something that pregnant women produce 6 weeks into their pregnancy as nutrients for the fetus, and that the doctor is surprised Lucy has survived this long with it in her body. Lucy makes one extra step back to the motel to locate Jang as he's within the center of getting a tattoo and a facial. She kills his guards and then shoos the tattoo artist away earlier than sticking knives in both of Jang's hands. With her newfound powers, she does a Vulcan mind meld into his mind and knows where the alternative 3 drug mules are going based totally on images in their aircraft tickets. She leaves, and Jang lets out a painful scream. Lucy goes to the apartment of her pal Caroline to apply work with her computer. She reads all of Norman's studies in a relay of seconds, then contacts him to inform him what she's examined. He is astonished to listen that she read the whole lot, whilst she continues to explain what she is feeling and experiencing, now that she has reached up to 20% brain capability. She is able to control electronics, making her look at the TV in Norman's motel room, as well as his cell phone and the radio. She plans to satisfy with him in 12 hours. Before leaving, she prints out a prescription for Caroline, telling her that her liver and kidneys are failing and that she desires to make new lifestyle and she'll be okay. The news about Lucy capturing the affected person has unfolded, so as she makes her manner through the airport, she adjusted her hair color and fashion. She calls a French policeman, Captain Pierre Del Rio, to inform him of the opposite drug mules. She then forums the aircraft and continues her studies at the mine, typing on her laptop at fast hearth pace. The flight attendants ask her to turn off her computer, and Lucy asks for a tumbler of champagne, whilst also telling one flight attendant to wipe her nostril without searching, and the woman's nostril bleeds after. Lucy is given the champagne glass and toasts, too. Understand, she discovers a teeth in her glass, and then she spits up 3 extra teeth. Then her skin starts to crumble, in undeniable sight of the passengers and flight attendants. Lucy runs to the bathroom, where her arms begin to disappear, and her face begins to type of soften. She pulls out the relaxation of the CPH4 and snorts it, restoring herself to normal, however she passes out. Lucy wakes up in a clinic room, with Del Rio and some other officers and medical doctors ready, once they have apprehended the opposite mules. She sits up immediately, to the alarm of a nurse. Lucy leaves the room and is surrounded by a group of armed men. With a wave of her palms, she is able to place all of them to sleep, except for Del Rio. Meanwhile, considered one of Jang's henchmen, G comes in with more armed guys to find the opposite mules. They take them right into a room and cut the medicine out of them after killing them. Together, they discover Jang's guys, and, with her mind characteristic now at 60%, she moves them across the corridor and forestalls G from escaping with the briefcase complete full of drugs via creating a type of invisible wall. She swipes the drugs from G and begins to depart, but orders Del Rio to go along with her. He thinks he's of little need to her, but she walks over to him and kisses him, asking him to come, as a reminder. Lucy makes use of her powers to find a new place, taking up Del Rio's vehicle and controlling the vehicle manically through the streets, admitting she's never done it before. Jang and G comply with her. Lucy and Del Rio discover Norman and his colleagues in a college, wherein she starts to expose all she has come to recognize together with her mind energy now exceeding that of a regular individual. While this happens, Jang and his guys infiltrate the region and begin to fire. Lucy gives the rest of the CPH4 to the professors for them to synthesize into a liquid material that goes into her bloodstream. Her brain function is going to 70% and her fingers begin to show right into a black wormy kind of goo that attaches itself to the computers within the room, giving Lucy extra power and thereby presenting her with an insane quantity of electricity. As her mind characteristic keep on growing, she manipulates atoms in any such manner that she appears to erase the whole thing in the room, leaving the professors standing in white space earlier than developing some kind of recent age extraordinary computer before their eyes. From outdoor, as Jang's guys are shot down through the police, he orders G to do something. G takes a rocket launcher and blasts through the room, sending Lucy thousands of miles to Times Square. She manages to move time with a wave of her hand. She travels backwards, from early 20th century New York, to colonial times, even all the way to prehistoric times to come face to face with the proto-human from the whole scene. They touch palms, sending Lucy through the cosmos and all of space and time, giving her unlimited and infinite electricity. Jang enters the room and slowly raises his gun to Lucy's head, and then she reaches 100%. Her frame disappears, leaving her garments behind. Jang fires his gun at not anything. Del Rio comes in and shoots Jang to demise. The black count in the room disappears and morphs right into a flash drive that lands in Norman's arms, consequently expanding and completing his research. Del Rio asks wherein Lucy is. A message seems on his cell phone pronouncing, "I am everywhere." The film concludes with an overhead shot of Jang's corpse whilst Lucy's voice says this is what may be accomplished with life. This marks the end of the movie. Please subscribe to receive a notification on our next upload. What do you think about the movie? Kindly share your thoughts in the notification box below. Thanks for watching to the end and have a wonderful weekend.